Oh, hello everyone. Bob Miller here, and right now I was just organizing my outdoor oddity picks. I was making a file for all the oddities that I have shown in the episodes, and I was making a file for the ones that have not been featured in the episodes. Whether they've been, they were originally going to appear, but I just couldn't find a placement for it, or they were just ones on like random walks that I do on a normal daily basis. Now, the unused ones will be used, like let's say for season 2. There's like some walks where I don't really find too many oddities. I can have like the backup, and they will be featured in the trailer for season 2. But let's not talk about season 2. Let's talk about season 1. Let me close the computer to avoid distraction. Season 1. I mentioned that I was going to make a reflection video, and I spent last Wednesday, it's the 1st of May, I spent last Wednesday watching each and every single episode. Oh, bad idea. No, it wasn't bad for the reason that you might be thinking that, like, oh, were your videos that bad? Were they that cringing? No, it was just like, that's all I did on Wednesday. Like, yeah, I mean, I love being productive. I love being progressive. I love, I love doing things. And, like, all I did was just watch the episodes, and it was just like, I mean, I did complete it, but it's like, I want to do like more things, you know? Anyways, so what I did was I watched each and every episode, and now you're probably thinking like, which one was your favorite? Which one was your least favorite? Not going to do that. I'm just going to focus on what I liked about it, what needs improvement, and additional notes that explain certain things. I even went as far to include the introduction. At the end of it all, I do have a conclusion of what I think about season 1, and after that, I will just say my final words about season 1 and what's to come for season 2. So, starting off with the introduction, I know I probably should have like fixed the lighting, and I should have done better with the transitions, but it was supposed to just serve as like a plain intro. Just keep it plain, like, don't worry about the transitions, just like, this is the introduction video. It's not anything special. It's like, this is what the series is about. Now, originally I was the Video Scientist 1994. However, my YouTube is connected to my Gmail, and my sister's husband thought it would be best to change my name, because the Video Scientist 1994, that's on my Gmail, and since I'm applying to jobs, he thought it would be best to change it to a professional name, my name, Robert Miller. But I noticed that on YouTube it says Robert Miller, and of course I want to change that, and I gotta figure out how to change that. Now, if you're wondering why did I choose the name The Video Scientist 1994, is because I really actually couldn't come up with anything. Like, when I was making originally I was Mr. Bobzilla 49, and there's a reason behind that. Mr., I like the surname Mr., like Mr. Bob, that's my name. Bobzilla, of course, Godzilla, and 49 backwards is 94, the year that I was born. But I wanted, when I went to make a more control-oriented, because originally Mr. Bobzilla 49 was on someone else's like Yahoo or Gmail account, I wanted something more controlled-oriented. So when I made the Video Scientist 1994, I know like it is a generic name. I really couldn't think of anything, because like I wanted to do so many things, and ever since I finally got Adobe Premiere Pro, like, I just saw myself as like, well, this is my first time working with Premiere Pro. I figured, oh, I'm like a video scientist, because if you ever go to my YouTube account, I mean, there are movie themes, but then there's also like movie mashups. There's this series. It's very diverse, and I do want to keep it as diverse as possible. And as I mentioned, 1994 is the year that I was born in. Of course, I have the test pattern for my profile because I really don't know like what should the picture be, what should like the title be. It's like so diverse, so different. It's like it needs time to develop. Like eventually in time, I'll think of something. So let's move on to episode 1. So here's some of the good stuff. The intro is good. Doing the video updates, the random videos like the cougar jumping up, not jumping up, the cougar jump scare. that was really great. It was like something you didn't expect. I love that. And showing like real footage, like when they were building like the crane with a crane, they're building the buildings. What could have been more of an improvement? There was too much talking. The reason why there was a lot of talking is because it was my first episode, and the neighborhood that I was like, the street that I was walking on, is like, I've been on it so many times that like I just wanted to be like a tour guide. Like I wanted to show you like how much it has changed. I realized watching episode 1, I could have edited it a bit better. I noticed like there was more there was like short snippets rather than like the whole song. Like for example, Anthony King's "Soul of the City," or "Cruel Summer," which I only use like the little snippets of it. It isn't like the later episodes how I use like the whole song. Something that I did in season 1 is I didn't want to repeat any songs, regardless of how good they would have been. But I know for season 2, I do want to use like "Cruel Summer" again, Anthony King's "Soul of a City," the Phantasm theme, stuff like that. From time to time, you will notice that like I kind of like focus away from. I really should be focusing right here at the camera, but I keep focusing right over here, because right over here I can see myself. It's hold on, wait a minute. This way ought to work. Can we see it? Oh my God, you can see it! Yeah, yeah. You see right here. I did not notice how dark it got turned. Well, I went to, I excelled in broken English. But yeah, I focus on myself on like that camera. I know I should be focusing here, but maybe I'll give it a shot. I mean, now that I know that I am like looking at the camera, I'm not worried about that I'm going to be too tall or too short. So episode 1 was meant to be like informative with the talking, but I understand that like the talking should have been cut down. Episode 1 should have been edited better. And speaking of talking, episode 5 is notorious for that, and I will get to it. Episode 2 continued the random videos, and I remember making the opening because it was the second episode. I was like, oh, I got to do something of a 2 theme. And I was listening to my music, and I was like, what would be a good intro? There's a composer by the name of Billy May. Not Billy Mays, Billy May. I know he did like his variation of the Odd Couple theme. And I was listening to Mannix, which was a TV show. And I watched the intro of it, and I was like, I wonder if I could make something similar to that. It was supposed to be like a homage of having like 2 screens going on at the same time. And that's what I was going for, and I really liked like episode 2 definitely had a lot of like special effects, like the part where after you see like the train tracks and I go and jump on the bed, and then the scene just it crashes, it goes down. That was the best. The only thing that I think that needs improvement in episode 2. Oh, and by the way, I really don't have plans on like editing season 1. Like, I'm not gonna go back and like take care of it unless, of course, like if a company like sees their place and like, hey, can you like block like our address or something, I can do that. But if it's something where like YouTube tells me to get rid of a music, fuck that. I follow the Copyright Free Act, YouTube. You should too. Anyways, but speaking of songs, I sort of wish I chose a different song at the end of episode 2. I mean, I did find a way to make Reagan's theme from Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Oh, there you go. Another thing in terms of 2. It was a roundabout episode, remember? I sort of wish I chose something different. I mean, it was nice, but it was like even to this day, I was like, you know, I sort of wish I went with something different. Episode 3 was to have like a good, the bad, and the ugly vibe. I know I want to use that one song by the Pet Shop Boys again. This must be the place I've waited years to leave. I think the problem with episode 3 was there wasn't that much footage. I wish I had a bit more footage for episode 3. The editing on the music was pretty good. I always do love editing like with like music is like and then when it goes ding, that's when I have like a picture right on the beginning of the ding. I actually didn't see any needs of improvement with episode 4. I love the Twin Peaks intro, and I love how I made the title the same as like Twin Peaks. I definitely love when I'm filled with energy about recycling, and I also love the scary part, which was the first time I had like something scary in this series. The only thing I have to note is I'm not so sure how long an episode should be. My mom is one of the people that watches my videos, and she always suggests like something between like something not as long as like 20 minutes, but I don't know, like I guess it all depends on the walk, and it depends on how much I find. I mean, it's still the first season. Like there's going to be like flaws in there because it's the first time, so it's not going to be perfect. But don't worry, I'm going to talk more about that in the conclusion. One more thing I forgot to mention in the transition of episode 3 and 4, I talked about that there was going to be a surprise. And that surprise was originally going to be my good friend Jackie. She and her son were actually going to make an appearance in episode 4. Unfortunately, they ran into some family errands. And it's sad because like I really wanted them to see like the beauty and the wonder of Peterson Park, but you know what? Peterson Park is not going away anytime soon, and there's always plenty of time, and there's always like plenty of days to walk with them to Peterson Park, whether it be like an episode or just to relax and enjoy nature. Alright, so episode 5. Believe it or not, I've actually had bad dreams about this episode because, like, I don't know, for a while I've always felt that this episode was cringy. Like, believe it or not, I actually had plans to disown this project. Like, I thought, like, oh, this is just annoying, it's cringe, like, I don't want to be associated with it. But, I don't know who said this or where it came from, but I saw somewheres, like, not everything you make is going to be perfect. And that really like changed my mind. That really like, you're right. I mean, think about like anything that you like that there's like a series of, like albums or TV shows or hell, even movies. Like there could be like a movie that you really like, but there's certain moments you didn't like about it. Or like an album, like there are songs that you really like and songs that you're like, yeah, it's eh. But the thing is, like, even though you don't like those songs, there are always a bunch of people. There might be other people that do like those songs. And I also think about like YouTube videos. I would find a video on YouTube that I don't really like that much, but there are people that I look at the likes and I look at the comments. There are people that like it, and it's like it put me in a good position. Like, there may be haters along the way, and I'm expected to see that. I'll just, delete their comments and block them because I don't really need that unnecessary hate. But there's always people that would like it. But I do know episode 5 is notorious for being way too talkative. But I counted the number of oddities in part 2, which was like, I'll talk about the Doctor Who thing in a little bit. And there was a total of about 22 oddities. I should have made episode 5 a bit better. I should have shortened it. I remember it was like a snap decision. I remember walking around the area. I was even walking down alleys just to find any oddities, and I really didn't find anything. I only found that handful. I don't know what's a good number of oddities. I guess if it's a bunch. I mean, whatever number a bunch is, I don't really keep track or count how many. I mean, that was the first time I actually counted it. While episode 5 may have not been the greatest of Outdoor Oddity episodes, I'm not going to look down upon it anymore. It did a decent job. It was an experimental episode. That's the best way I can put it, where I can't get mad at it because it was experimental. Oh, when I'm going like this to thank you, High Council, I'm doing the thumbs up, but I did not realize that all you saw was my fist, but I was really doing the thumbs up. As I was saying, it was an experimental. It was first time. What if this is not an Outdoor Oddities episode, but a Doctor Who episode? And that's what I try to go for. I was definitely influenced by Babel Color's The 10 Doctors. I remember when he had the original four parts on YouTube, and I was going for something. I was going for with the opening, "Oh, there you are, Bob. At last we meet." I wasn't really too pleased with the area. I did mention about social anxiety, and there was this one point where I'm trying to do a video update. There were countless times where I tried to do a video update, and there would be someone walking by, and there's always this fear of I don't want people to walk by and look at me weird, what is this guy doing? I've gotten that way too many times in the past, or I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't want to be recording and they have to stop, and there's that awkward stopping, just go, okay, just go. Or I wouldn't want let's say I'm doing it and some cocky bastard comes along and goes "Hey, are you making a YouTube video?" You see what I mean? I just wanted to find a quiet area just to do my video updates, and I also wanted to sing. Now, I have mentioned that I'm not really a dog person. I'm going to be fair with you guys. There are certain types of dogs that I do like. I mean, if you were to ask me what my favorite animal would be, a dog would never be in my top 5s. But there are certain types of dogs that I can tolerate. I mean, there's some that I don't like, but the dogs that I do like are dogs with smooth fur, smoother fur. Something that's majestic looking. A Great Dane, a Beagle. Oh, beagles. I haven't seen a beagle in a long time, man. Greyhounds. Something that's fluffy or full of hair. I'm not really too keen on that. So in case any of you guys were thinking of unsubscribing because Bob Miller's not a dog lover, I can't follow him, no. Dogs aren't the worst thing in the world, okay? That's the best way I can put it. I mean, I don't like them that much, but if you were to ask me which one was my favorite and I have to give an answer, I'd say dogs with smooth fur. Anyways, this has gone off course way too long, so let's continue. I have thoughts about should I go back to Blick again, this time with a better attitude, because as I mentioned in that episode, it was windy. Me being the dumbass, I thought to myself oh yeah, it's summertime. Like, there's no wind in the summer. Boy, was I dumb. Like, at least I admit that I'm dumb, okay? Oh, there's this one part I try to sound like the Seventh Doctor from Doctor Who. I have thought about, should I go back to it? I probably should, but I kind of don't want to because I was just so upset on that day. Like, I was like thinking, okay, I'm going to show you guys this fantastic area. There's these like railroad tracks and there's like these other things. And like all the things that I wanted to see were not there. And it was just like what do I do? Like this episode has got nothing. What do I do? And it was a snap decision. I was like, what if you did like a Doctor Who episode? Like you got transported to a planet where there's nothing on it. Then that was the idea for episode 5. Episode 6, my favorite thing from episode 6 was the opening credits. In the opening, you never once see my friend. You may see like a reflection of someone in like the one eye towards the end of the opening title sequence, but you never see my friend, and that's what I wanted to go for because I wanted to be a surprise. Now I noticed that the lighting in the alley that we were shooting from, it was dark, and I was thinking of fixing the lighting, but I was like, nah, I kind of want these videos to be like authentic. I felt like if I were to edit it in a way, like I guess I should have done the lighting. I now realize that like I should have just had like a little subtitle saying had to change the lighting because it looked a bit dark. But when I was making it, I was like, I didn't want to change the lighting. I wanted it to be authentic. But now I realize maybe I should have put in like a subtitle. Anyways, I noticed that during like some of my conclusions in many of these episodes, I have been known to mean being repetitive. Episode 7, if there's one thing that I love doing with my episodes is like, I know with this episode and episode 10, I did like something of a quietness where like it was like quiet. So after like the gun barrel, you just see me in the getup walking around, and there's like no music, there's just like nature sounds. I know that the gun barrel that I made wasn't the greatest, but I made up for it for like, hey, I don't care. Whatever, I'm doing this for fun. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're expecting something traditional. But I know I do want to make another James Bond parody again. The next time I do it, it's going to be something a little bit more serious. So for episode 7, it was definitely going for more of the campy vibe with like all the characters, and I really went all out with like the costumes and like the voices and just the overall plot itself. It was stupid, but it was just like the sillier of Bond movies, like Diamonds Are Forever and some of the Roger Moore ones. I screwed up my own continuity because you see, like the first thing I filmed was like me going to James Park. And I was going like, oh, Spectre is behind all this. But then the second thing that I recorded were the villains, and they were part of an evil organization called the Organization. I guess like I was thinking, wait a minute, Spectre might be Spectre might be copyrighted. I can't say that, so we'll just say the Organization. And then when I was editing it, I was like, well. My mom pointed out that I should have like edited the song, The Shadow of the Big Man, which is actually a rejected Bond song. I actually did like that song, and the reason why I played it all the way through is because that's how like the Bond movies were. They played the whole song all the way through. Nowadays the Bond songs are like shortened. After the climax, I should have fixed the audio. I should have had more buildings in the opening when the big boss is like showing his the villains like all of these buildings that Bob is walking by. I think next time I did make like a script. Well, not a script per se, I just like wrote down some notes, but I more or less like winged it. Like there was like a part where like I kind of screwed up and I was like, I just worked a way around it. But I've noticed I've gotten a little bit more comfortable. Like, especially when I was like doing the characters, it was like I wanted to make the characters like theatrical and like paradorizing, campy. So I've mentioned that I do plan to go to James Park just one more time, only that I can do a serious version. Like we got the silly Bond, now we're going to have the serious Bond, and I definitely want to focus, so I focused on Connery and Roger Moore. So this time around I want to focus on Timothy Dalton and Daniel Craig. And I love making the trailer. The trailer was definitely in tributes to like the early Bond movies, like in Diamonds Are Forever, like you've been waiting for him, asking for him, now he's here. Episode 7 is the only episode that has like James Bond-esque music. It has music from the James Bond series, and I've actually had thought about like, oh, I want to put like this James Bond theme in this episode, and like I kind of restricted myself because like, you know, it's not a James Bond themed episode, but I think I'm going to break that rule because like the James Bond songs are pretty good, both like the Rejected, the Used, and the instrumental, and I can definitely work with that. Episode 8 is rather long. It's a bit talkative. I think the reason why many of like the episodes are talkative, as I mentioned, one could be for like the tour guide aspect, but I think another reason is when I was making these, my mom suggested the idea that I should have them uploaded in the summertime when I'm doing it. So there was like I did take my time with these, I did take my time in making them, but I wish I spent enough time to make them, and maybe I could have like edited them a bit better. It was my first time using like only one song for an outdoor oddity montage. If you notice, like many of the episodes have like different songs for like the montages. This is the first time I did one song because there's only like a few, I remember there's only like a few oddities. I mentioned about a poll that I was going to do for episode 11. That's not going to happen. So if you actually do go to episode 11 expecting to see a poll, I may put one there, but it was only if I had enough interaction on these videos. I mean, I may have like 330 some subscribers, but the amount of interaction I get, like I get it from my mom, an online friend, and a friend who used to work with me at a local retail company. But other than that, like I don't get any other interactions. I may do a poll in case like I need ideas for like what episode, what location would you like to see repeated for like season 2 or season 3. I may do that, but that all depends on like if like my fan base grows. Episode 9 was really good on the editing, especially like there was the one where you have like you go up into the sky and then you see like the plane. Those were like that was 2 videos, and like I wanted to do that because there was like both the skies, and the animal highlights. That was really cool. Like the raccoon, that was like I was not expecting that. I was just walking along, like I hear the girls like screaming, and I just see this like fuzzy thing, like, oh, what a dog! Oh, that must be like their dog or something. It's like, and then like something was just like like the gears were turning in my mind. I was like, wait a minute, there's something about that doesn't look like a dog. And then I was like, that's a raccoon. I didn't want to get too close to it. I know raccoons are more nocturnal animals, but it's like, what if that thing attacked at me? I know he probably wasn't, but it was my first time. Like, oh, you know, guys, I wanted to be safe. When I did that one video update about the pier walking continuation, this is what I meant. I thought of the idea of, like, what if I could find, like, there's a certain area in Illinois where, like, the beaches begin here. And I could have, like, a whole season dedicated to walking from this end to the beach to this end, but, like, let's say I can only walk, like 5 hours, so it'd be, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't really, like, word it out when I was, like, there, but that's what I wanted to say. I love that episode 10 didn't have an intro. I love, like, the quiet opening, because, like, it has been a long time since I've uploaded an episode, and so, like, I wanted to have, like, this, like, quietness, like, Bob Miller presents, and it's quiet. And then we get the title. And I've definitely gotten used to, like, working with, like, I did, like, the text crawl, and I did, like, the moving text. I definitely have gotten used to, like, moving things on Premiere Pro. So there's definitely a lot of progression. It was a good idea to use other oddities because, like, I know I wasn't going to run into that many oddities, and I wanted this to be like a normal-esque episode. So it was a good idea to use other oddities from, like, other walks. I love the choice of Vance Joy's Riptide. There are a bunch of songs that, like, I want to use for my videos. I just gotta figure out how, and, like, and the best place to put them. I don't want them, like, if it's like a walk to my grandmother's house, I wouldn't want to put it there. I would want to put it, like, on an extravagantic walk. I say don't desecrate these areas, but then I think about, like, what about, like, sidewalk faces? What about the outdoor oddities? If we don't desecrate them, how are they going to grow? Well, I guess what I mean is, like, don't turn these places into, I think I actually said this before, don't turn these places into, like, this is why we can't have nice things. Like, if something, like, really bad happened there, or, like, something that's, like, indescribable, that's just, like, it, like, just ruins the mood, I guess that's what I mean. If you want to put in a sidewalk face in there, or, like, leave something, like there's, like, the Spider-Man doll from episode 4, or something like that, that, like, it's something that you would never expect to see in an area like that, then I'm good with that. I mentioned in episode 10 that Gompers Park is my favorite walking destination, and, well, I actually didn't walk on Gompers Park, and I actually did some research. I'm not actually sure it's called the Union Pacific Trail. I may have gotten that wrong, and if I've gotten that wrong, I apologize. I only remember Union Pacific Trail because I saw it on someone's, like, Snapchat a couple of years ago. If there's actually another name for it, like, as I said, I'll apologize. I just didn't know. I actually watched the video, and I saw the sign, like, you're leaving Gompers Park. Like, that area right over there, we're not involved with that area. So that could explain, like, the broken bridge, and as well as, like, the creepy old men, which I'll get to in a little bit. That's, like, not in the Gompers Park area. Like, we just have the park. That's it. I still love the nature paths. Like, where I walked to in that episode, like, the long pathway and the nature paths, I love those. Like, I would say that is my favorite. The shady side, where all those men were. Now, as I said, like, none of them took advances towards me. None of them, like, chased me or hurt me. But it was truly uncomfortable, man. Like, you know, it's like one of those things. It's like you joke about with your friends, like, oh, what if there's a gangbang going on in there, or like someone's getting a blowjob? And I highly believe shit like that is happening in that forest, because it's like, it makes perfect sense. Like, you got these men standing around, no one is about, it's far away from civilization. Like, if that's not what's going on, then I want someone to prove me wrong. The only way I'm going to go back there is like if I have a group of like 10 to 13 people and at least 7 baseball bats. As I mentioned, they did no harm to me, but I just want to be prepared. Because I have actually gone down that way once. There were some interesting things. I remember like the infamous condom tree. It was just like this dead tree covered in condoms. And like I'm wondering if that's still there. But I remember in episode 10, like, oh, if my suspicions are correct, I can probably guess why that exists. But if you just keep on going, you reach to like where like the train tracks are, because that, like, where I walked, that pathway used to be where train tracks were. When I mentioned Gompers Park, I only mentioned that pathway that I walk on with the nature paths, the bright side. And it's funny, it's like, do I want to go on the bright side with the cloudless sky and the rainbows, or the dark side filled with men that might want to get into your pants? And finally, episode 11. I definitely love the music that I had for episode 11, like Break My Stride, the MacGyver intro. Oh, that was great, because I actually originally had plans to have an X-Files intro. Like, if episode 10 did not happen, like with where I used like other oddities, I was going to have an X-Files intro, and the ending was going to be the oddity is out there, or something like that, and it was going to show you oddities that I've seen on my other walks. There's this funny moment that I noticed in the episode that that happened within the take. It wasn't like 2 videos. It was in the same take. I was doing the conclusion. It's actually at 27:16. I pick up my Slurpee and I'm about to drink it, but I don't. I just keep holding it, and I put it back down. And I can't remember if that was intentional or not. I don't think it was. I think like I was going to take a sip out of it, but I was like talking too much. I was like, I don't have time to take a sip out of it. The bottle flipping scene that you see in the opening, that was the second try. The first try, it didn't do it. The second try, it did. When I was doing my YouTube music rant, I said hard drive. I meant to say MP3 file. Back when you had iTunes, you just go onto iTunes like on the computer, and you're able to like rename the song. With YouTube Music, you have to delete the song from YouTube Music, rename it on when I said the hard drive, I meant the MP3 file. You had to rename it there, then upload it back onto YouTube Music, so it's still a hassle. So what's the point of this reflection? I guess this reflection is just to help me build confidence. I mentioned that this is my first time doing a series, and as I've stated, I've had like bad dreams about it. I've thought about like disowning it. There was a moment where I thought like, yeah, this is, nah. I understand now that not everything is going to be perfect. Regardless of what haters will come along, there will always be lovers. As I look through season 1, I realize it's not that bad of a season. It did a decent job. I see this season as like a child learning how to ride a bike without the training wheels, in which like they're not going to get it right away, but eventually through practice and for example, the good stuff that I've mentioned, I'm going to continue doing that. As the mistakes, I will learn from them and find a way to make them better. And there's just one more thing before I talk about season 2 of Outdoor Oddities that like really helped my confidence. On the final episode, my very good friend Jackie, who was featured in episode 6, she left a very heartwarming and appreciative comment that like really made me smile. It warmed my heart and just like made me feel good about my work. Now as I look back at season 1, I'm not going to reject it. I'm not going to naysay it. I'm going to be like, yes, I made that. Yes, it may have its flaws and it may have its mistakes, but you know what? Nothing is perfect, and I can live with that. Season 1 did a decent job, and Season 2 will learn from Season 1. And now, what's to come for Season 2? This is actually a bit of a trying time for me because at the moment I'm trying to find a new job. And if I have a full-time job, there won't be room for Season 2. But if I get a part-time job, then Season 2 is more than likely going to happen. I know on a full-time job, like, you get the benefits, but I sort of do want the part-time job because, like, I can have so much time to work on my projects. In addition, like, part-time, like, really helps me, like, recharge my batteries. So if I do get a part-time job, well, like, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get a job, like a new job, so it may come in the middle of summer or at the end of summer, who knows. But as I've stated, even if it's only like 5 or 6 episodes, it's still a season. So regardless of that, Season 2 has a date. And I already have 11 episodes planned. I have ideas on the parodies I want to make for the episodes and what I want to put in those episodes. And I am going to promise a trailer for Season 2. I actually have the idea of what the trailer is going to look like. And I promise that the bonus content for Episode 2, this reflection video, and the trailer to Season 2 of Outdoor Oddities will be uploaded sometime in this month, which is May. There you have it, my reflection video for Season 1. Season 1 wasn't all that bad. It wasn't as bad as what I thought. But now I can look at it, I can feel confident about it. I don't have to have like any more lingering concerns. It did have its flaws, but you know what? As I said, it's my first time, and that not everything is going to be perfect. I'm okay with it. And I am looking forward to not only making Season 2, but bringing you guys Season 2.